Hello, I'm Ian. Here I will make a simple presentation about how to create a demographic table by using a SAS program. I didn't attach the header here, I will attach later. First of all, I set the system options. After running it, I created a format I will use in later time. And then I use two methods to import the raw dataset into a SAS dataset. The first method is the import procedure, and the second is the conventional step. Here we need to notice several key points. First of all, we don't need all the observations in the raw dataset. We only need the patient who has the non-zero ITT value, which means the patient is the ITT patient. And then I calculate the age value by subtracting the patient's birthday from today. So we need to know how the date and the time stored in SAS. Here I use the demog underscore data Excel to do the demographic table, since this Excel contains all the information we need, such as gender, race, birthday, subject ID, treatment group, and so on and so forth. We can also use the demog and the subject info to Excels to do our demographic tables. We can input them, sort them, and merge them based on the subject ID. Here, we should know the difference between the merge and the SAS statements. The merge procedure is a key point in SAS programming. And now, we can see there are 18 observations in total in the SAS dataset we created. And then let's look at this demog table we created just now. And then I will check whether there exist missing values. I will use the frag procedure to check all the categorical variables. And we can see from the frequency table, there are 18 observations in total for the gender, same as the race, so there's no missing values. And I will use the means procedure to check all the continuous variables. So there is also no missing values. After checking the missing, I will check the replicate. After running this code, we can see there is only 0 observation existed in the table dupes, so there's no replicate. We need to notice that if we use these two Excel tables to do the demographic table, it seems like there's one replicate, so we need to delete it, and then do the statistical calculation. I use this procedure to create the frequency table for all categorical variables. We can see this table. Here we should notice the option I set in the code. These options help us to store the gender information in descending order, just like the way it appears in the sample demographic table. And then I use the summary procedure to create the mean, median, maximum statistics for all continuous variables. Since the codes for the variables are same, so I just use a micro here. And then I will call the micro to create 3 tables. Let's have a look of this table. Here we should also notice the option N-way. The option N-way I set here, so it helps us to only have the information this variable, type variable value is not equals to 0. And then I created p-values by this procedure for all categorical variables based on the Fisher exact test. And this procedure to create p-values for all the continuous variables based on the rank sum test. After calling the macro, I got 5 tables containing the p-values I need. And then I append the results into one dataset called ALL0. I use the set statement to read all the observations. Here we should know how the set statement works and how the program data vector works in SAS under the screen. Here I also create an indicate variable called ABCDE. For example, if A equals to 1, it means that the observation SAS is reading now belongs to the gender 0 table. It is similar for B, C, D, E. And otherwise, A equals to 0. So I create a vector called sect number, and the sect number equals to 1 if the observation is reading belongs to the gender group. And if A equals 1, then I created a stat code to indicate the gender group. Stat name, I use the format I created before. And this is the statistics, the frequency and the frequency percent. We can use a table to understand the code here better. After running this code, let's look at this table we created. And then I will append all the p-values results into one dataset. The code is just similar as above. And let's look at the p-value table. We can see the sector number equals to 1. It means that this p-value belongs to the gender group, and so on and so forth. After getting all the statistics I need, I use the transpose procedure to transpose the ALL0 table, so I can change the data structure into what I need one. We can see the way data appeared in this dataset is just like the way it appeared in the sample demographic table, except that there is no p-value column. So I will combine the p-value dataset into this ALL0. Now it is just identical with the sample table, except the headers. So here I will use the report procedure to generate the report. We can use this code to output our report into our RTF files. Okay. And now this is the result demographic table. Here is a little different from the sample table. I will fix it later. And then I use a print procedure to generate the listing. This listing contains all the information of the ITT patient. And then I use the univariate procedure to create a histogram for the age variables. I will create a nice format in later time. This is the demographic table. That's all.